Hi friends, in this video we will discuss about Cisco ASA. Okay, what is Cisco ASA? It is a combination of stateful firewall and VPN concentrator. We know what is stateful firewall. Yes, stateful firewall as name tells us stateful. It maintains the state of the connection in the state table and it will forward the packet to the destinations. When it will receive the reply, it will match the packet's information with the state table. If that match, that is allowed, otherwise it is dropped. Now new word is here, VPN concentrator. Okay, Cisco invented a device that is called VPN concentrator, and this device is used to implement VPN. But when Cisco introduced ASA, they merged both technologies, means stateful firewall plus VPN concentrator, and the new product is called here Cisco ASA. Cisco ASA features, they are in front of you: proprietary operating system, stateful firewall, user base authentications, protocol and application inspection, MPF, VPN, virtual firewall, web based management, transparent firewall, stateful failover, IPv6 clustering, and VPN load balancing. Okay, what happened when we talk about a firewall or router? So here there are two things. First is operating system and another is hardware. So hardware also belongs to Cisco and operating system is also belongs to Cisco. Means both things belongs to Cisco. There is no another vendor interception. Okay, here we can say it means both hardware and software belongs to Cisco. It is not just like another vendors, they use one company operating system and another company hardware. Okay, next is stateful firewall. As we discussed later before a few minutes, here it maintains the state of the connection when packet is passing through the appliance. When it will reverse, it will receive the reply, it will match this reply packet with the state table. If that match, that is allowed, otherwise it is dropped here. Next is user base authentications or CTP. So what is CTP here? For example, we have a client that is connected with switch, and that switch is connected with Cisco ASA, and the ASA is connected with ISP. Now we want, when this client initiate a request of telnet, HTTP, HTTPS, and FTP. Okay, if this client initiate the request of these protocols and they pass through the ASA, then we can authenticate them. And for authentication, we required an additional technology or additional server, we can say, that is AAA. So here we can say user base authentication. Using this feature, we can authenticate the request of following protocols. For example, telnet, HTTP, HTTPS, and FTP. Same thing you can see on the PPT. Next is protocol and application inspection. Now question is, what is this? It is a large concept in Cisco ASA or any firewall. What is protocol and application inspection? A part of MPF, means modular policy framework. Using protocol and application inspection, we can enable deeper inspection of application layer protocol. For example, FTP, SMTP, DNS, and TFTP, HTTP, or NetBIOS. For example, a few question is here, a few examples is here. For example, we have a DNS server here and the client is connected at outside, that is requesting, initiate requesting to the DNS server for name resolution. Okay, now what we can do here, okay, for example, the client is initiating a simple request, for example www.google.com. This is a simple request. What's happened if you are talking about standard DNS query length is, that is 512 bytes, and rarely it exceed 1024 bytes. Sorry. Okay, so what we can do on ASA for the DNS, we can define if the query length is greater than 1024, then drop such kind of queries. Same thing we can do for here SMTP. If you are running a SMTP server, for example mail server, we can define here if the SMTP header if SMTP header contain greater than 1024 characters, then simply drop that. Just like this, we can give multiple statement or multiple conditions for application layer protocols. Okay, next is MPF. MPF means Modular Policy Framework. Modular Policy Framework, it is an approach to gain following features, for example, inspection of connection, connection restrictions, traffic prioritization, and traffic policy. For understanding it, we have to go through the diagram. Okay, if we are talking about Cisco ASA, so Cisco ASA add only TCP and UDP connection in its state table. So we are talking about here MPF. Okay, first is here inspection of connections. So we can say here along with TCP and UDP, please add ICMP. So using inspection of connection, we can configure to the ASA that which protocol you have to add in state table along with TCP and UDP. Remember it, we can only add, we can't remove these. If you want to remove, then you have to simply apply ACL. Okay, next one is connection restriction. Connection restriction means, for example, you are running a server behind the ASA and the client is outside. Okay, now you have allowed that any user from the outside network, they can access this web server. Okay, by default there is no limit. This user can initiate single connection or this user can absorb all connections here. But in genuine network or if this user is genuine, it will initiate one connection. But if it is an attacker, what it will do? It will initiate all connections. For example, a server can support maximum 65000 connections. We can say 65k connections. Okay, now what we can do on ASA? We can define on ASA, okay, one client can initiate only one connection. It is depend on you that how much connections you want to allow to a single host. Same thing here, we can define here total maximum connection. Means, for example, if this server supports 65k connections, then it means it is being 100% utilized. So here you can define, yes, the total connection of this application is, for example, 45k. Okay, you can also define embryonic connections also. Next is here traffic prioritization. Traffic prioritization means, okay, you are running some applications which are delay sensitive here, so you can give priority to delay sensitive data, for example voice application. Next one is here traffic pulsing. Traffic pulsing means you can set here, okay, if you have 4 mbps link internet link on your firewall and you want to divide that into your lanes, or you can say in departments, so we can also do through the traffic pulsing. Next is VPN. Okay, Cisco ASA supports two protocols for VPN, or we can say three. First, IPsec, and second, SSL. In IPsec, it supports two types of VPN, site to site and remote access, and in SSL, it supports all mode, clientless, thin, and thick. It is also support L2TP layer 2 tunning protocol VPN. Virtual firewall, yes, an interesting topic. What's happened if we are talking about a switch? By default, switch contain a single broadcast domain. But using VLANs, we can create multiple broadcast domains to reduce the size of broadcast flooding, to control the traffic of the host. But here, it is not a switch, it is a firewall. What happened? By default, ASA works in single mode, means that is a single appliance. But what we can do, we can divide a single appliance into many virtual appliances, and they are called context, and these context number is based on the license. If you are purchasing security plus license, then you can create two context. But if you want to create more, then for that you have to purchase a higher license. What are the requirements of context? Okay, for example, uh, at the same geographical location you want multiple firewalls, so here you can use context. And if you want to use active failover here, then you required context. Next is web-based management. Okay, the ASA can be configured via CLI or GUI. CLI, command line interface, GUI, graphical user interface. If some user feel complexity that we can't configure an ASA in CLI, okay, then there is an option they can configure the ASA via GUI. Using GUI, there is another tool, ASDM, Cisco Adaptive Security Device Manager. Next is transparent firewall. Okay, in transparent firewall, it's work as a layer 2 device, but still it has capability to filter the traffic from layer 2 to layer 7. Okay, stateful failover here. So what is failover? For understanding failover, we have to go through a symbol diagram. Please have patience. Okay, we have a lane that is connected with switch, and that switch is connected with a firewall. That firewall is connected with switch, and that is connected with ISP. Okay, now entire connectivity we will obtain through the ASA, but assume any interface goes down or firewall goes down, then we can't access internet, or neither internet user can access our internal resources. So here for redundancy, what we will do, we will implement two firewall. One will be primary, another will be secondary. Primary will work as active and secondary will work as standby. First, all the communication will happen through primary. If any problems happens or anything goes wrong with the primary, then secondary will take over the role and it will provide its network reachability. So this is the failover. A Cisco proprietary features, it provides us uninterrupted access using redundant appliance. As you can see on the screen, we have two ASA, ASA1, ASA2, means we are using here redundant applicing. And what they are providing, yes, they are providing us uninterrupted network access. Okay, and it support active standby and active failover. You can use active standby and active failover. What is failover? We will go through it later. Okay, IPv6 ports. As we know, the modern time, IPs are going to end, and now what is coming? IPv6. So Cisco ASA also supports IPv6, but here the some little bit problem is this: the current latest operating system is 9.4, but till 8.6 it support only static and default routing. But in 8.4, or we can say in 9.2.2.4, they also support IPv6 OSPF routing. So we hope that in newer operating system version, maybe they support RIP, NG, EI, GRP, v6, so we can assume. Okay, so OS version till 8.6 only supports static and default, but in OS version 9.2.2.4 and later they support OSPF version 3 also. Okay, VPN load balancing. So what is VPN load balancing? For understanding, okay, we have to go through a simple network diagram. Okay, we have some VPN users here and they are connected with ISP, and they are connected with appliances, and appliances connected with our servers. Okay, now these are our remote client, and they want to access our internal resources in a secure way. To obtain this task, what we will do here, we will configure a remote access VPN so that the internet or mobile user can access our internal resources in a secure way. Okay, now if we have two clients, then there is no problem. But suppose if we have here 2000 clients, then Such capacity is not supported by a single ASA. For that, what we will do? We will implement here redundant remote server. Okay, so we are talking about VPN load balancing. VPN load balancing, okay, a Cisco proprietary features. It enables multiple remote access servers to appear as a single server. Okay, now we will configure all the appliances in a group that is called cluster, and to this cluster we will configure a IP. When we will configure VPN load balancing, one will become master and another will become member, or we can say backup. Okay, the client will initiate with the cluster and the cluster IP request will be handled by master. Okay, then master will check the load and it will distribute it into the member. So here we can say a Cisco proprietary features, it enables multiple remote access servers to appear as a single server. Clustering, yes, a feature introduced in Cisco ASA operating system 9.x. It enables us to group multiple appliances as a single appliance. What's happened if we are talking about failover? Okay, in failover, we have two types of failover: active standby and active active. In active standby, we required two appliances, one active, another standby. If active goes down, then standby will take over the role. But in active failover, we required two appliances and two context: context 1, context 2, context 1, context 2. Okay, active standby, standby active. Okay, in active standby failover, only one appliance participate in traffic. In active both appliance participate in traffic. But here in 9.x they introduce a new feature that is called clustering. In clustering, what happened? We group multiple Cisco's ASAs. Okay, ASA1, ASA2. In clustering, we can configure or we can group multiple ASAs as a single device. Okay, but this feature is available in 9.x and later. Using clustering, we can group, for example, 8, 16 or more appliances in a single group. Thank you.